House Bill 29. All right, welcome to the voting session of the Environment and Transportation Committee. I'm the Chairman, Kumar Barve, joined by the Vice Chair, Dana Stein, and the wonderful members of the Environment and Transportation Committee. And we're going to start with House Bill 29. Dave, that yours?
It's actually Delegate Boyce's bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Subcommittee Chair. HB 29 was voted out of the subcommittee favorably. HB 29 repeals the authority of the MVA to suspend the registration of a motor vehicle because the registered owner of the vehicle incurred a toll violation and failed to pay the toll and any associated civil penalties. There are two sponsor amendments as well as a committee amendment that Patrick will explain. The sponsor amendments offered are: one, require the Maryland Transportation Authority to competitively bid for a certified public accounting firm to conduct a certain performance audits of the electronic tolling operations of the authority on or before a certain date. And amendment number 2 makes the bill an emergency measure.
Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendments before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
Seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any debate on the bill as amended? All right, we're going to do a roll call vote so that we know who all is here. So Trish, roll it.
What?
I've got you this time. All right. So, good to go?
Yeah, roll call.
All right. Stein.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Learman.
Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo.
Yes.
Otto.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Wyval.
Yes.
Emperor.
Yes.
Siliberti.
Yes.
Wells. Thumbs
He's,
up. All right.
Got a thumbs up. Yep.
Love.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Prettyman.
Yes.
Foley.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Carrasa.
Yes.
Parrott.
What are you?
Parrot's giving us a thumbs up.
Boyce.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Jalisi.
Vaughn, what are you doing?
He's a yes.
Yes, yes.
Anderton.
Yes.
Gilchrist.
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes. Oh, why did you take that down, Vaughn?
What are you talking about, Mr. Chairman?
Thank
Never
you.
mind. Nothing. House Bill 38.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
since there were amendments, can we pile on?
Yeah, sure. Who all wants to pile on to this bill? Put your hand up in the Zoom and I'll start reading off your names. Okay, Sheila Ruth, Regina Boyce, Jen Terraza, Linda Foley, Vice Chairman Dana Stein, Roxanne Prettyman,
Yes,
Mary Lehman,
I know. Thank you.
DFH, Marlon Ampry, Brooke Learman, Jay Jalisi, Vaughn Stewart, Will Wyval, Sarah Love, Melissa Wells, Ann Healy, Marvin Holmes, and oh, what the hell, I'll go on it too. If everybody else is, seems like.
It's a good one to be on, Mr. Chair. It's a good
Yeah.
one to be on.
Chair, may I
yes.
read that back?
Please do.
I have adding delegates Ruth, Boyce, Terraza, Foley, Stein, Prettyman, Lehman, Fraser Hidalgo, Ampry, Learman, Jalisi, Stewart, Wyval,
Love, Wells, Healy, Holmes, and Barve.
Sounds right. Okay, House Bill 38.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 38 was voted favorably out of subcommittee with no amendments. H Bill 38 reestablishes Chapter 547 of 2018, which terminated in 2021, expressly authorizes MDTA to recall a delinquent account from the central collection unit.
Okay, is there a second?
Second. Second.
Bills before us without amendments. Any debate? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? And I think we have a full house, right, Trish?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. House Bill 38 passes. House Bill 206.
That is me, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
House Bill 206 was voted out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. What this bill does, it repeals a catch-all provision. It says a person may not in any applications for a license to drive or a moped operator's permit. And then there was this catch-all provision that a person may not do any forbidden act or fail to perform any act required by this title, which was exceedingly vague. And lots of people were charged under it, but no one was really convicted of it. So we got rid of that and instead inserted a person may not engage in any fraudulent or dishonest conduct in the examination or testing process for the issuance or renewal of a driver's license or moped operator's permit, including for the driver skills examination, the driver knowledge test, or any required vision or medical examinations. Move the amendment, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Any debate on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. Okay, the bill carries. House Bill 335.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 335 was voted out of subcommittee favorably with 3 amendments. Amendment number 1 reduces the dispute resolution period from 3 years to 1 year. Amendment number 2 limits the 1-year period dispute to over a charge or fee for the use of the Maryland toll facility. Amendment number 3 alters the effective date of June 1, and amendment number 4 sunsets the bill after 1 year. Move the amendments.
Second.
Okay. And there's a second. Any discussion on the amendments? Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to ask about that dispute resolution period being reduced from 3 to 1 years. What does that mean? What does that mean?
It essentially means that if you want to dispute a charge, instead of you having 3 years to dispute it, you have 1 year to dispute it.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Terrazza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, just if we're discussing this, like is a year enough? I mean, is there a reason that it was dropped from 3 years to 1 year?
There was a lot of discussion in subcommittee on that particular issue, as was the sunset. And after talking with MDTA and just kind of floating out what the potential bond rating issues may or may not be, was thought to do that.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I chime in on that?
Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
No, that
Thank you,
would be me.
Mr. Chair. So that was a sponsor amendment put in by me, because when I originally put the bill in, it was for 3 years. And that was based on what we thought was the law in Massachusetts that had been repealed. The current period is 120 days. So the 1 year is considerably longer than the 120 days that is currently in effect.
And Mr. Chair, may I say that the 1 year also cuts down the fiscal note significantly?
Okay. Delegate Jalisi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this 1 year starts when a person receives the bill, or is it from the day the toll was incurred? Because a lot of people in my district are not even getting their Easy Pass bills for a year under COVID. So that means that they can't dispute anything that happened a year ago.
This is only for Easy Pass.
Right, Easy Pass
1 year, it's
is
1 year,
is not billing for a long period. So
it's
a lot
1
of-
year after it's posted to your Easy Pass account.
So you, okay, good.
So
So that
it's
you're
posted to your-
saying that if they don't post it for a year to my Easy Pass account, even if, it happened a year ago, I can still dispute it, right?
Yes,
From the-
Okay.
1 year from the date of posting.
it's 1 year from the date of posting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I forget, did we pass the amendments or are we debating?
No,
them?
we didn't. We were still discussing. We still need to
Okay,
pass.
any further discussion or debate on the amendments? Seeing none. Vaughn, who is that behind you?
This is actually one of my favorite delegates in the House, the gentleman from Solomon's Island.
That's right.
Thank God.
It's Delegate
Okay.
Clark. It's Jerry Clark.
Oh, no
Okay.
kidding. Oh my, look at him. What a handsome devil you are in that
Told
picture.
you I had fun. I told you I had fun when I was young.
Okay. All right. On the amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, the amendment carries. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
And
Okay. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present.
Mr. and Mr. Chairman,
You want to do a pile-on amendment?
I would.
Yes, please.
Okay, put your hands up in the Zoom and I'll call your names off. Okay, Delegate Ruth, Delegate Jen Terraza, Delegate Regina Boyce, Vaughn Stewart, Marvin Holmes, Mary Lehman, Melissa Wells, DFH, Marlon Ampry, Ann Healy, Roxanne Prettyman, Will Wyval, Brooke Learman, Sarah Love, Jay Jalisi, Jay Jacobs. If you could read that back when you have a chance.
Okay. Ruth, Terraza, Boyce, Stewart, Holmes, Lehman, Wells, Fraser Doggo, Ampray, Healy, Prettyman, Wyval, Learman, Love, Jalisi, and Jacobs.
Okay, I think that's it. All right, House Bill 404.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 404 was voted favorably out of subcommittee with one amendment, which limits the highways on which the new speed monitoring system may not be implemented to those with a speed limit of not less than 25 miles per hour. Move the amendment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion on the amendment? Okay, I don't see any. So, Delegate Wyval.
I'm sorry, what did you say the amendment did? It's 25 now?
Yeah, it limits the highway on which a speed limit monitoring system may not be implemented to those with a speed limit of not less
Of less,
than 25 miles.
less than 25 miles.
Less than 25 miles an hour.
Not less than 25, because it was 15. It was 15 is introduced, right?
No, the 15
No.
is for the minimum speed limit. What the amendment's saying is that if you lower the speed limit to between 15 and 25, you can't use a speed camera there. It would create the impression of a speed trap.
It's similar to it's almost the same thing that we did at the Montgomery County bill a couple of years ago. I think it was last year, actually, Delegate Wyval.
All right, thank you.
Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just really briefly, I don't want to rehash the bill, but I did listen in on the motor vehicle subcommittee discussion, and there did seem like that there was a little bit of confusion One around the speed camera issue. So thank you, Delegate Fraser Hidalgo, for explaining that. But I just wanted to point out again, this is enabling legislation. So counties can take it up or not, and then set their own, sort of internal rules for public review and comment and that kind of thing. So it's enabling. Montgomery County only has it right now. And pedestrian advocates believe the other counties in the state should have that opportunity. Thank you.
And again, it's modeled off the bill that we passed last year. I think it was David Moon's bill.
Okay. So this is the amendments, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the amendment carries. All those in favor, the bills before us is met. Barry, did you have your hand up or something?
Negative.
Okay. All right. Bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the bill? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so that would be Will Wyvil, Neil Parrott, anybody, Charles Otto. Who else is opposed? Those three? Okay, so it should be 22-3, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Okay, the bill
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I will say that as a little bit of a joke, I've always had problems with this bill because it's House Bill 404. And every time I see 404, I think of like a Microsoft error. Like, how it always comes up error 404. So every time I see it, I'm like, error 404, this is a bill. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that amusing vignette. Okay, next bill, House Bill 475. That yours,
House
Amy?
Bill.
Oh, no. Okay. Go ahead.
House Bill 475 did not receive any movement in the subcommittee, so it's unfavorable.
Okay. Is there a second for the unfavorable motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the unfavorable motion before we vote?
David, you're going to be the talk at breakfast on Tuesday.
I'm not surprised. Apparently, I'm the talk and breakfast regularly from the Marriott. Apparently, I hate golf carts, which is not so, but I know that's what you all are saying about me. And just so you know, Delegate Clark, this is a very different bill. So for your conversation at breakfast, this bill would cede a lot of jurisdiction directly to the counties. And that is a very, very different golf cart bill than we've ever heard before.
I agree with you, but that's what they wanted and that's what they got for a bill. I didn't think it was going to pass anyway. So.
Might have been different if they went a different direction, but they chose not to go that direction. So
there's no truth to the rumor that you have a golf cart shaped voodoo doll in your home in Potomac or wherever you live?
Me?
Boys?
In Boyd's, no, I do not.
Okay.
All
right.
But it was the original electric vehicle.
Slow and ugly and unsafe. You got it. All right. The motion is unfavorable. It has been seconded. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The unfavorable motion carries unanimously. House Bill 653.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 653 moved out of committee, favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill makes changes, of course, to a broad variety of existing programs related to environmental conservation and natural resources management, and extends opportunities for agencies to obtain private investment and financing for state environmental projects, including conservation efforts, restoration projects, and the installation and repair of blue and green infrastructure. Among other things, the bill also establishes the pay for success contracting as an allowable procurement method in the state. Subcommittee Amendment number 1 makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 requires the Maryland Environmental Service to review and evaluate the results of certain pay for success contracts as specified and makes technical changes. Amendment number 3 adds language to ensure that the membership of the task force regarding accounting practices for natural capital reflects the geographic, racial, general, and cultural diversity of the state. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments or questions? Okay, all those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Boy, you guys seem so enthusiastic. Okay, any discussion on the bill? Delegate Terraza has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm going to support this bill, but I have to say that I'm concerned about setting up a private market for this. We have a real problem with another area where we set up a private market for stream restoration in my district. That is really causing a big problem for us. And I'm a little worried that we're expanding out into this. I do support us trying to find ways, innovative and creative ways to fund environmental projects, which we know are so important, but I'm really concerned with us moving into the privatization of that. So, but I am going to support it. I just wanted to express my concerns about it.
Okay, Delegate Foley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too am going to vote for this bill, but I have additional concerns in addition to those expressed by Delegate Terraza. My concerns are, I think anytime that we outsource either to, private companies or nonprofits or whatever that this bill does, that we should also take a look at labor standards because we want to make sure that these industries and that that we're creating good jobs. So I will vote for the bill, but I express that concern as well.
The Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the private market issue, I guess I just wanted to add that this bill actually doesn't set up any new private markets. It just facilitates the ability to use existing, say, carbon markets, other related markets. So anyway, just wanted to toss that in.
Let me say that I actually, I'm voting for the bill. I'm happy to do so. I actually think that the use of markets to reduce pollution is, in a way, not so innovative. I think that we have used cap and trade type markets in the past very successfully. I do think that you have to have proper regulation and oversight, and I think we're doing that here in this instance. And so I'm voting for the bill on that basis. Any further debate or discussion before we proceed to a vote? Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I say one thing?
Sure.
I know Delegate Foley and I know Delegate Ruth talked about labor standards, but I think the state has labor standards in that we didn't have to be prescriptive about those standards within the bill because the state has those standards already. And so I'm hoping that there is a sense of confidence that our state will uphold those labor standards as it relates to these projects. So.
Okay. Unless there's anything further, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed?
Opposed.
Neil Parrott is opposed. Anybody else opposed? Okay. Anybody abstaining? Okay, 24-1. The bill as amended passes. House Bill 714.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill puts limits on use of the Bay Restoration Fund for upgrades of privately owned wastewater facilities. The subcommittee approved the bill without any amendments. However, we've since learned that there is an amendment needed to clarify that the bill's restrictions apply to the entire statute governing the Bay Restoration Fund, not just a subset of the BRF that this bill was drafted to. So I would like to propose an amendment saying that the bill's restrictions on funding of privately owned wastewater facilities applies to the entire Bay Restoration Fund statute.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on that amendment? All right, we'll vote on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Delegate Weigel has a question or a comment.
Delegate Stein, do you have like examples of private wastewater treatment plants?
Well, the example that triggered this bill was the Valley Proteins case. The chicken rendering plant that initially until the grant was rescinded was going to get a grant under the Bay Restoration Fund for improvements to its wastewater facility.
So, don't we want those plants to be in compliance?
Yes, but the thought is that they should use their own funding, not the Bay Restoration Fund. So what this bill says is that for private wastewater facilities to be eligible, they have to be serving multiple homes and not be in violation of any discharge permit.
So if it's a private system serving residential homes, it's not restricted.
I'm sorry, I lost you there at the end, Delegate.
So if it's a private system serving residential homes, it's not restricted by this bill to receive?
That's correct. If it's not, and also if the system isn't not in compliance with any discharge permit, but generally, yes, those would be eligible.
So do you know how many plants across the state are affected by this?
I don't. Valley Proteins was the was the first one that I think we became aware of.
All right, I apologize. I missed the hearing. I was presenting a bill on another committee, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or debate? All right, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Delegate Parrott is opposed. Anyone abstaining? Okay, that would be 24-1 then. The bill carries. Okay, House Bill 772.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. This bill replaces existing energy efficiency standard requirements for various products with energy and water efficiency standard authorizations and requirements for a new list of products. The amendment clarifies the definition of faucet and makes a technical correction. Move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about the amendment? Delegate Jacobs has a question or discussion.
Yeah, in the bill hearing, I think that it was brought up by a couple people about recycling materials. Like even in my operation, when I take things out of houses, there's a lot of products I take out of houses that's like brand new. But the customer wants new things put in, and I don't want to just dump the old stuff. I try to recycle everything I can. So under this bill, I guess that would no longer be, if they didn't comply under the new requirements of this bill, I would have to recycle them and just dump them basically, right?
The standards that are adopted under this bill don't take effect until early 2024. So I guess if that happened during the next 2 years and it was a product that's affected by this bill, then you could resell it. If it was after then you're correct.
Well, I'm not reselling it. I'm just, rather than dump it, take it to a landfill. There's a lot of people that don't have a lot of means to replace different things in their houses, and it's perfectly good. It's like, it could be a year old, but
Yeah, I hear you, Delegate. I don't think this would affect.
So in 2024, if say I took a hot water heater out of something that was in good shape and tried to give it to somebody, but it didn't fall under the standards of this bill, I would just have to get rid of it other than let somebody else have it.
No.
Standards apply to new products. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was just saying the language in the bill is applying the standards to new products that are sold.
Yeah, that's right.
Delegate Ruth had her hand up. Do you?
I was going to say new products also, and also it's only products that are products that are already on the retail shelf are not, they're exempted. That doesn't count against them. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Okay. I noticed in the chat, somebody brought up scratch and dents. This is that bill. Yep. Delegate Clark.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm not going to be able to support this bill for the reasons I stated when we first heard it. I think it goes too far into people's homes. I mean, we're talking about what kind of hot water tanks people can have in their house, what kind of ice makers, what kind of commodes, all kinds of things like that. And I just think that we're just going too far on this at this point. I agree with Jay. I mean, a lot of people every so many years, they upgrade. I mean, my wife would upgrade every 2 or 3 years if I'd let her and replace a lot of stuff. And I'm just not going to be able to support this bill. I think it's just too far overreaching into individual citizens' lives.
Okay. Delegate Ruth has her hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just was going to say that, we do have standards for products. In fact, there are a series of them that we're repealing now because they're preempted by federal standards. So this is not a new concept. It's just a different series of products. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any further discussion before we proceed to a vote? Neil.
Thank you. My understanding is this affects dishwashers also. Is that right?
Affects what?
Dishwashers.
Commercial dishwashers. Commercial.
Not residential.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, we'll proceed to a vote. We'll do this by roll call. Roll call.
Stein.
Yes.
Holmes.
Aye.
Learman.
Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo.
Yes.
Otto.
No.
Jacobs.
No.
Wyval.
No, and I have to leave the meeting to present a bill in HDO, so Trish will have to mark me absent. Thank you.
Excused.
Excuse, thank you.
Yeah.
Got it. Ampre.
Yes.
Siliberti.
No.
Wells.
Yes.
Love.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Prettyman.
Yes.
Foley.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Tarasa.
Yes.
Parrott.
No.
Boyce.
Yes.
Clark.
No.
Jalisi.
Yes.
Anderton.
Nah.
Gilchrist.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes.
That is 18-7.
18-7. Okay. The bill carries. All right, let's go to House Bill 784.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have that one today. So this passed out of subcommittee favorable. This bill establishes an irreplaceable natural areas program in the Department of Natural Resources. And the program purpose is to preserve Maryland's native biodiversity on state-owned land managed by the department for current and future residents of the state. By July 1, 2023, DNR must adopt regulations to carry out the program.
Are there any amendments?
There are no amendments.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion on the bill? Seems pretty simple and straightforward. We'll proceed to a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. Sabi, Will Wyval's gone, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he's excused. 830, House Bill 834.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill requires MDE to establish the third week in September as Septic Smart Week. Amendment number 1 makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 alters the provisions relating to the sale of real property. Move the amendments.
Is there a second on the amendments?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Delegate Jalisi has his hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what does this change? And what is Septic Awareness Week? And what is going to be happening in that week? Can somebody-
Well, I'll start, and then Kristen or Delegate Love, if you want to add in. So there is actually EPA has a Septic Smart initiative to promote septic system awareness. And so during the Septic Smart Week, MDE must use those educational materials. And Kristen or Delegate Love, if you want to add anything to it.
That's correct. They'll be promoting awareness of these materials.
Is this creating awareness?
It's an education piece, Delegate Delisi, because we have many, how many? I can't even remember the number at this point, but we have a lot of folks in Maryland who are on septic. And so this is an education piece, especially for homeowners who are buying homes and don't know how to take care of their septic system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion before we vote? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that's 24 votes in favor and 1 excused. House Bill 870.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 870 was voted out of subcommittee favorably with just the amendments. We're just clarifying some of the language. Move the amendments.
Is there a second for the amendments?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bills before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill before we vote on the bill as amended? Delegate Clark has his hand up.
Delegate, could you just give me the 10-second view of this bill? I can't remember this bill.
Sure. So the relationship between towers and secured parties is often done either written, but what this allows is if both of those parties, like an insurance company and or an individual and a towing company, to make that notification electronically as opposed to. Does that ring your bell?
Yeah, that rings a bell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so the bill carries 24-0 with 1 excused. House Bill 882.
That is, thank you, Mr. Chair. That's my bill. 882 passed out of subcommittee favorable. It's a departmental bill that alters the boundaries of the Pocomoke River wildland by removing a 2-acre tract of land that serves as a trail and adding an 80-acre tract of land.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of House Bill 882 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the bill carries unanimous among those present. House Bill 932.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill moves favorable with amendments from the subcommittee. This bill as amended establishes an electronic or written check issued by a political subdivision or on behalf of a government entity has the same legal effect as other forms of payment for the right of redemption in an action of summary ejection for failure to pay rent, where the landlord or mobile home park owner is awarded a judgment providing for repossession of the subject premises. Mr. Chair, the amendments are the bill. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Okay, yes, Delegate Jalisi.
No, I thought amendments passed and I was going to ask a question on the bill as amended.
Okay, then we'll proceed to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
No. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Delegate Jalisi.
I just wanted to know, what does the bill do now that it is amended?
If there is a payment made on behalf of the tenant for the electronic check or electronic or written check, if it's issued on behalf of the local jurisdiction, like an ERAP or something, or on behalf of the government entity, that payment is sufficient for the tenant to stay in the home.
So what does that mean? How does it change things that are now? What is it changing?
Currently, to stay in eviction, you do the same thing. Currently, if you stay in eviction, you can pay while the sheriffs are at the door. There was some discussion in terms of how would things be different if there was a payment made on behalf of the tenant by government entity. This bill clarifies that.
I mean, it was in the public testimony, I think it was characterized a little bit as a loophole closer in that, you know, and sort of analogous to the Home Act, where we said that you couldn't discriminate against somebody due to their source of income, analogous to that, the source of income. Delegate Stewart, I think, has an answer, perhaps.
Yeah, y'all are both correct. Basically, Delegate DeLisi, we already think, you know, 99%, we're about 99.9% sure that if you reject a check from a county rental assistance program in the waning days right before an eviction, that someone would be guilty of violating the Home Act. We're pretty sure that's a violation, but it is happening. Folks are treating a check from a county as distinct from a tenant certified check. So all the bill does is, in the acceptable forms of payment that under state law exists, it's like certified check, cash, money order, or whatever. We're just adding check from a county government. That's all the bill does.
So help me understand this. The check is delivered to the landlord and they are still not accepting it? Or you saying that because the county in Baltimore County only issues promissory notes and the actual check comes 30 days later. So you're saying that the county has already delivered the check and a landlord is refusing to accept it and because it's not from the tenant?
Yeah, so here's what's happening.
Scenario?
Yeah, so here's what's happening in a number of counties, including my county. The county rental assistance program is working with the sheriff to come up with a list of the next folks that are going to be evicted on. There's a writ of eviction has already been issued. Folks are about to go out the door. They're working with the sheriff's office. They think it's going to take too long to give the check to the tenant, because then the tenant's going to have to put it in their own account, get a certified check, give it to their landlord. And we're talking about like within 24 hours, they're going to be out of the property. And so the county is showing up on site. They're using all of these hours, these labor hours from all these county employees to prioritize this person, triage them. They're getting to the landlord's house. The sheriff is there and the landlord's saying, oh, this is a county check. I don't have to take this. This is not an acceptable form of payment under Maryland state law. Have a nice day.
So is it not because that the county is also demanding that with the receipt of that check, the person is allowed to stay for 90 extra days? So this doesn't change. This doesn't mean that, right? Because under ERAP funding, if I have a person who's behind in rent by a month and I accept the county check, that means that I cannot go back to court for 90 more days after accepting the check. So you're not saying that that changes that this is that money, right?
So under current Maryland state law, our understanding of the law is that by taking the money, especially in those last few days, you're not obligated to sign a contract with the county and agree to whatever their terms are. And this bill would not change that. And that's why MMHA does not oppose this bill.
Okay. My understanding talking to Baltimore County is different. They just sent me a letter, and to receive any money from Baltimore County, even if it is for a month of past due rent, you have to agree to not go for to rent court for another 90 days, which means that after 90 days of non-payment, I will be in worse position. And by me, I mean anyone would be in worse position than the property owner would be today by not accepting the check. You're saying this is not the scenario that is happening in real life?
I'm not totally following what scenario you're talking about with Baltimore County.
Okay,
What I will
let me explain it. I am behind in rent by 1 month. You're the property owner. You have gone to rent court. You have gotten the eviction processing. The sheriff is coming tomorrow, right? Now the county comes and says that we will give you the check for the 30 days for which I'm being evicted for. But in order for you to accept that 30 days, the Baltimore County is saying that you, Mr. Stewart, cannot, Mr. Von Stewart, you cannot go after Mr. Jalisi for 90 days.
Right.
After receiving this payment. So you're saying that this is not happening. This bill does not cover that type of payment.
And Mr. Chair, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think part of what Delegate Jalisi is explaining is the ERAP.
Right. I'm just making sure this is not it.
The ERAP is one thing. This bill we're discussing right now is something different.
Okay.
So the two things are totally separate. So when you describe the ERAP, you are correct. You sign an agreement with the government.
Right.
With this bill, not HB 932 is not tied to the ERAP. Two different things altogether.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further? I think that's it. Okay, on the bill as amended, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present.
Mr. Chairman, pile on.
Oh, a pile-on amendment. Okay, sure. Put
Thank
your
you.
hand up in the. Okay, let me start reading these suckers off. Melissa Wells, Sheila Ruth, Marvin Holmes, Linda Foley, Marlon Empry, Roxanne Prettyman, Mary Lehman, Dana Stein, Regina Boyce, Sarah Love, Ann Healy, Fraser Hidalgo, and oh, what the hell, I'll go on also.
Okay, I have delegates Wells, Ruth, Holmes, Foley, Ampry, Prettyman, Lehman, Stein, Boyce, Love, Healy, Fraser Hidalgo, and Barve.
Sounds good.
I think you're missing me.
Who's me?
Jen Terrasa.
Oh, Terrasa. Oh, okay. Yep, I guess so. And it was Mary Lehman.
Yep, I have Delegate Lehman.
Okay. House Bill 1059.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This bill requires each bi-county commission to annually certify with the State Ethics Commission that it is in compliance with specified requirements of the public ethics law. This is a local bill from Prince George's County delegation and Montgomery County delegation. Move the bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All those in favor of this ethics bill in an election year signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody want to vote against an ethics bill in an election year? Anybody abstaining? Okay, the bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 1066.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1066 was voted favorably out of subcommittee with no amendments. I'm happy to explain it if people want to hear.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on 1066? The year of the Battle of Hastings.
That's correct. Well done.
Move the bill.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Any abstaining? Okay, the bill carries unanimously. House Bill 1110.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1110 was moved favorable with amendment from the subcommittee. And as amended, the bill lowers the minimum blood level that triggers actions by the state lead poisoning prevention programs. And as we recall, it reduced the blood levels from 5 micrograms per deciliter down to 3.5. Amendment number 1 make technical changes, and amendment number 2 makes clarifying changes and corrects a date. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second on the amendments?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Okay.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended? Okay, we'll proceed with the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously among those present. House Bill 1149. Shrimp.
That is me. Sorry, Mr. Chair. You often
You're not that short.
you say things that catch me off guard, and I become giddy like a school child. So forgive me. So House Bill 1149, it moved out of the subcommittee favorable, clarifies DNR's existing authority to adopt regulations governing any aspect of our newly created shrimp fishery. Move the bill.
No amendments, right?
No amendments, no.
Okay, is there a second on the bill?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the shrimp bill? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
It looks like Brooke Learman is not here at the moment, so she's
really?
absent on this bill.
Yeah, she's absent. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Brooke, you around? Okay, all right. Shrimp cocktail for everybody but Brooke. 1150.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 1150 was voted favorably out of subcommittee with no amendments. And again, I'm happy to explain if people want to hear.
Sure.
Oh, okay. House Bill 1150 authorizes state maintenance and service equipment of vehicles owned by state or local jurisdictions, including operating under contract in state or local jurisdiction, to be equipped with the display green flashing lights simultaneously with yellow and amber flashing lights during snow removal or protection of highway maintenance workers. This essentially adds a green light to the repertoire, and the thought is that will make these vehicles more visible and help save lives.
And no amendments?
Nope, no amendments, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so how many people want to vote green on the green light bill? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Anybody want to vote red on the green light bill? No? Okay. Any abstentions? Okay, the bill passes unanimously among those present. Is Brooke here with us? Brooke is here. Okay. All right, let's skip to the last bill. House Bill 726 is being withdrawn by the sponsor. So the motion is motion unfavorable, withdrawn by sponsor. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion withdrawn by sponsor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill is withdrawn. House Bill 1187. This bill, go ahead, Dave.
I was just gonna say this bill is directly to committee. House Bill 1187. For those that don't know, is the highways user revenue as amended HB 1187 increases the share of funds from gasoline and motor vehicle revenue account that MDOT must annually provide to local governments through capital transportation grants for fiscal year 2024 to increase this amount year over year by approximately 3% to 2027. This is Delegate Anderton's bill, and that's as much as I know.
Yeah, and I want to be definitely pile on to that one.
Okay, so does anybody have can staff describe the amendment that basically is a leadership amendment on this bill?
The amendment of the bill. Basically, they increased the 2024 highway user revenues by a little bit, and then 3% year over year through 2027 fiscal year.
Right, and this is and this was submitted by the House leadership. So let me first, is there a second for that amendment?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendment?
So is this capping the?
No, it's releasing, it's opening back up and returning more highway revenue funds back to the local municipalities.
Is it going back to original formula over
No.
a period of time?
No.
No. It's the current rate for fiscal year 2024, the current rate will go up a little bit, and then 3% year over year increase through fiscal 2027.
Okay, Delegate Boyce has her hand up.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that, of course, Baltimore City is not being cut or reduced from this.
Do you want, I'm happy to speak to that, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead. Brooke?
So my understanding of how this was drafted is that over 4 years, so from the base where we are right now, this amendment, so if we didn't extend the sunset, it would be a problem.
Right.
So this
Right.
takes the sunset away, but it also adds more. And it says, basically it will result in over 4 years, nearly $100 million in additional revenue going to the local governments. 55 million of that will be to Baltimore City and 21 million will be to others. Because of course, Baltimore City maintains all of its own roads. So under the formula, it has always gotten more.
Yep. Got it. Just clarifying.
Yep.
And it's TTF line.
Delegate Jacobs has his hand up.
All right, so I'm looking at these percentages. For 2024, it says amount equal to 8.5, and then 3.3 and 2.1. You know, a bill came in asking to restore it to the original amount before, I guess that was 2009 before it was slashed to smithereens. So what kind of dollar amounts are these? The bill's not, so in other words, this amendment doesn't take it back to what they were asking for, where it was originally. So what do these amounts mean?
Well, this is well, I don't know about the percentages. I mean, it's 3% amendment, but from what I understand, the 2024 to 2027 numbers are not as good as Cornbread's original bill, but still an improvement over what we have right now. I understand the city would get a total of 94 million, the county's 130, and the municipalities 124 million over that period of time. That's my understanding.
In addition,
right. And remember, these are
Build Back Better money coming too, right, Mr. Chair?
Right. This doesn't include, well, yeah, the state and local jurisdiction will still have Build Back Better dollars coming from the federal program. And remember, these are transportation trust fund dollars, not general fund dollars. Next person with their hand up is Jerry Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do we have anybody on here tonight from MACO?
Well, it's not our practice to.
Yeah, I know, but I was just checking that it's not. We don't usually have them. My question is, why, Carl? You had more money in the original bill back to the counties and the municipalities, correct?
yeah, absolutely. But this is what's been agreed upon. And the thing is, over the next decade, we're going to have to reconfigure how we fund the transportation trust fund as we have more and more electric vehicles on the road. You know, that's something that has to be in the back of everybody's mind, is that, you know, there's going to be this breaking point where we're going to have more vehicles using electricity than gas, paying into, you know, the TTF through every tank of gas you buy. So that number is going to decrease every year. So until we find, you know, either there's a vehicle mileage tax on electric vehicles, or something along those lines to get, you know, everybody paying their fair share. I mean, we're going to kind of have to tread water until then.
Yeah.
My question is, though, I mean, through the testimonies, all the county Castro, they need this money to get their roads back up from the last however many years.
Well, I agree, absolutely.
I guess the question is, we just projecting another $1 billion in funds. Why are we going to go ahead and let's fund these counties back with the user dollars and let them get their roads back up to the way they need to be?
Well, because it's surplus is a one-time thing, you know,
Well,
whereas
I understand that.
HURs are in perpetuity. So you have to be able to fund that 20 years from now, the way you're funding it today. And you have to be able to do it with a surplus.
And that could be changed in any given year. But why not for the next couple of 2-3 years while we got the funds, are we not giving these counties and municipalities the funding to get their roads back up what they need to be?
Well, let me
The
try.
governor could have allocated that in the budget, but he didn't.
Let me try and address it this way, Jerry. I mean, this is Gaithersburg and Rockville are not going to get as much money as they want, as much money as they would have gotten under Delegate Anderson's bill. But it is an improvement over what we have right now. And I think that Delegate Anderson's absolutely correct. We are in the next couple of years going to have to reconfigure the way we pay for the Transportation Trust Fund. And so it's guaranteed that we're going to have to relook at this in a comprehensive fashion in the next 4-year term, I think. I feel confident that that's true.
Well, I'm just trying to get more money for the counties and the municipalities so they can get their roads back up to the way they should be.
Sure.
And I just think that we should, over the next couple of years, increase sharply what they're getting while we have the funds there to be able to do it with. That's just my opinion. So
that's a good opinion. Absolutely.
So we have an amendment with a second. Let's vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, well.
That's the amendment.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I would still like to be added as a sponsor.
okay. All right. Well, we'll definitely have a pile-on this one, that's for sure. Okay, all of the bills before us and has been.
Mr. Chair, move the amendment in the.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry.
I said move the bill as amended. I'm sorry.
And I said
Okay.
second.
All right.
And I said second. So I'm seconding Regina's movement.
All those in favor of House Bill 1187 signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Cornbread strikes again.
Congrats, Carl.
Okay,
2018
we have a
2.0.
pile-on amendment. Who wants to have their name on the bill?
Since Gaithersburg has been bugging me for 9 years.
Okay, all right. So I'm pretty sure I'm on the bill already. Well, no, actually, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
You can now.
Hold on. Let me. Where's my reaction thing? Here we
We'll
go.
put,
All
a-
right.
we'll put an asterisk next to your name though.
Yeah, no, we don't need to do that. Okay. Kumar Barve, Jim Gilchrist, Sheila Ruth.
Gilchrist is already on it.
Okay. I'm just.
I'll figure that out. Read them all off and I'll figure out what's already on it.
Right. Regina Boyce, David Fraser Hidalgo, Ann Healy, Sarah Love, Jen Terraza, Mary Lehman, Roxanne Prettyman, Marvin Holmes, Linda Foley, Dana Stein, Melissa Wells, Vaughn Stewart, Neil Parrott, Jay Jalisi. When you have a chance to read that off.
Okay. I have Gilchrist, Barve, Ruth, Boyce, Fraser Hidalgo, Healy, Love, Terraza, Lehman, Prettyman, Holmes, Foley, Stein, Wells, Stewart, Parrott, and Jalisi.
That sounds about right to me. Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
All those names that you read, Patrick, will be in addition to the names that are already on the bill, correct?
Correct.
Because I'm already on there, so I'm not going to be, I'm still on there.
Yes. Oh, you're still on there.
Yeah, you'll just be pushed to the end. You'll be the
Yeah,
last one. that's all.
It's a pile-on, not an erasing pile-on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. All righty then. Well, people.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I would suggest that today is a great day for the United States for the simple reason that billionaires got together with millionaires and we're going to have baseball. It's a
Woohoo!
That's right.
We're millionaires
Down
and
with
billionaires.
Batman,
Okay,
Fred,
great.
but go
yeah,
O's.
181 games.
It is a great. it is
Let's
a great
vote on
day.
that stadium funding.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Orioles
Hey,
opening
baseball?
day is sine die, everybody.
Hey, I also want to repeat something that Jay Walker said. We had a number of people from our committee who debated in a very emotional debate today. No matter how or where you are, I was proud of every one of the members of my committee who spoke up, and it was all civil. And we're a big family, and I want to especially thank Brooke for sharing such a painful memory from her past, and everybody who really expressed how they felt in this whole on this whole issue. And so I'm very honored to be associated with each and every one of you. So having said that, are there any announcements?
Mr. Chair,
Marvin.
Housing and Real Property will meet at 6:05.
Shit. Wow. Okay. All right. Who else?
Don't worry, I'll move them all real fast for you, Marvin. We'll be done by 6:10.
Mr.
John Bailey. You're muted, Ann. Ann, you're muted.
Okay, try again. A local government is going to be meeting on Monday at 4. And Matt will send out all the information.
Gotcha.
Did you say
Mr.
what
Chair, do you
time?
want to mention
4
that
o'clock in the
gonna-
afternoon.
Patrick?
You want to mention that we're probably going to be voting on Tuesday?
Yes, we are probably going to be voting on Tuesday. Thank you for reminding me.
And Mr. Chairman, the Environment Subcommittee will meet Monday at 5.
Okay. Any other comments before the chairman issues another expletive? We're all adults here. After the things we see on TV, people can't take it. Okay, so listen, try to relax this weekend. We all, again, as I said, I'm very proud to be associated with each and every one of you, and I will see you